to close my eyes to do this because I can't remember when I'm looking at anything. I was born in Washington State, and then we moved from there to Mountain Home, Idaho to Nairobi, Kenya, Issaquah, Washington, but we were supposed to move to Rome, Italy. We moved to Georgetown, Texas. I moved to Germany, and my parents moved to Bulgaria. My parents moved to Poland, and then I moved to Nampa, Idaho.
I'm from Australia originally, and I grew up in Russia as a missionary kid and went to Germany to school. And now I live in the States, married with my husband.
I was born in Nebraska. At 5, we moved to Yemen. War broke out, we were evacuated, and then moved back to Texas where we lived with my grandparents. And we moved to Uzbekistan, and my parents ended up moving to the United Arab Emirates.
There's always this blank silence before you answer that question. Like,
always.
Because I could just do the list, or I could...
However you want to do it.
I was born in Florida, and then I moved to Nuremberg, Germany, and in England for 6 years, Kentucky for 2 years, Heidelberg, Germany for 5 years, and then I went to boarding school at Black Forest Academy. I went back to Heidelberg for a year to do an internship, and then I moved to Florida for a semester, and then now I live in Michigan.
Sometimes I'll kind of try to read the person who's asking and try to gauge how much they really want to hear. And if I say overseas and they don't seem interested, I'll just leave it at that.
If it's like in a Christian environment, I'd say I'm an MK. My parents live in Italy, but I go to school here. If it's like out in public, I'd probably just say Michigan.
I'm from Kondon, Germany, but I don't speak German, but I do speak French. That I don't have an identity in where I'm from because I can't even relate back to like, oh, this is where I've lived the longest, because I've never lived anywhere more than like 4 years.
I have a really hard time defining where home is, defining my nationality.
Like, I keep analyzing myself and it becomes way too complicated because I keep thinking, oh, that was so Korean of me. Oh, that was so German of me. Because it just comes out so, like, unexpectedly.
I will not feel at peace and a citizen of a place until I'm in heaven, I don't think.
For me, I define belonging as feeling accepted and feeling secure in that acceptance.
For me, it's having a sense of group identity within a group, being known, not having to explain myself. I just walk in and it's like, oh, this is Lauren, this is what she does, and this is who she is. I have a lot of relationships that are deep, that's okay, but it's when those relationships kind of gel together into a community and I have a role in that community that I feel like I belong.
There has to be reciprocation and those people or that place saying, yes, you belong with us. It's two-sided.
So in the sense of being in a place...
I'm gonna hit that.
I am gonna be the mess up reel.
You are.
Adding to the sense of belonging, when I walk into a room of a place I belong, I can melt in the presence of other people. Whereas if there's a place where I don't belong, I'll walk into the room and feel like I have to constantly prove myself.
It's harder because belonging is often tied to home, and home is ever-changing and ever-moving.
Feeling accepted and understood, at least to a certain extent. Feeling like you'd be missed if you weren't there. Having connections and roots and a network.
To belong means that you have an understanding of each other's history, but there also has to be a sense of feeling that you're wanted there.
Not having to explain myself, just being understood.
I'm not sure I really know when I last belonged. I've felt elements of belonging. I don't think I've ever truly belonged.
I also often feel like I belong when I'm in an airport. There's just a sense of comfort and familiarity, I think, that makes me feel like I belong there.
Every place that I've gone, I've gotten to the point of I belong here. And I think that's why it's so difficult for me to leave and to transfer where I am, because I just belong in this new place, and then that identity is ripped from me every time. And that's why I've said before that I feel like butter spread over too much bread, because I'm constantly gripping for all of these things that I know that's where I belong and that's where I belong. But if I belong in all of those places and my arms are always stretched out, that doesn't leave me any place. That doesn't give me stability. It just continues to have me reaching all over the place for the belonging that I found, but has since been taken from me.